Sukhivant Mangal Ho. Okay, so this is the puja. It's again showing our faith, Saddha, in this path of liberation. Buddha and his teachings and his community, they all represent enlightenment only, absolute enlightenment, absolute liberation, absolute freedom, absolute happiness, absolute emancipation from our own enemies. In our mind, we have our enemies. The enemies are always within our mind only. They only create problem for us. So how to come out of these problems, how to destroy the enemies, and thereby how to progress in this path of happiness, true freedom, true liberation. Showing our conviction in this path. That's what we did in this chanting, understanding the importance of mind cultivation through these different discourses, Karaniya Metta Sutta, developing the mind full of this loving kindness, compassion, not having jealousy or hatred or anger, animosity towards others, towards oneself, how to cultivate that, how to have the blessings, how to respect the respectables, how to be in the company of the wise people, good people, all these different blessings we remember, and how to keep away the evil forces and how to invite the positive forces by surrendering to this path of Dhamma, these teachings that lead us to the liberation. So that's what we remembered in these chantings. It's again developing more faith, more conviction, putting more efforts into this path and deriving more happiness, developing more wisdom and freedom. That's what is this path. By again following the different meritorious actions like this generosity. And now the second one is after faith, one will definitely become generous. If you don't have faith, you can't be generous. You will be stingy, you will be selfish, you will be possessive. So a bit of faith will make you to develop a bit of generosity. And after that, a bit of morality also one should practice. Morality will develop more of willpower, more of conviction, more of resolving ability to stick on to your resolutions, your commitments. That kind of energy is called willpower. So to develop that willpower, now you have to take what is called these 5 precepts. This Panchashila, meritorious actions like with faith, all these meritorious actions you have performed like generosity, morality, meditation, apachayana, respecting the respectables and inclining towards this path of liberation, path of true happiness, true health, and of course performing your own some service, different ways of service. Encouraging other people to follow this path is also a great service. That also all of you are doing. So all these things are meritorious actions. Now we can perform this Pattidana, Pattanumodana also, like sharing these merits with the departed relatives. Generally after this Dhammasavana we used to do, but when you see the order of these meritorious actions, the next 6th and 7th are this Punyanumodana, Pattidana, Pattanumodana. So now those who are requesting for this Punyanumodana, they perform this meritorious action of Pattidana, Pattanumodana. That is Punyanumodana. And afterwards we will take up this Dhammasavana, Dhamma Sakacha, like Dhamma talk we will see after this Punyanumodana. Okay. Now, with one small incident that happened during the time of Buddha, we will see one very important aspect of Dhamma, the teachings of Buddha, the core teaching of Buddha we will understand. Once Buddha was staying in Jetavana. Many of you know Jetavana is the place, Vihara, where Buddha stayed for some 25 years. It's in a place called Savati in Shravasti. It's called Shravasti now. It's in Uttar Pradesh, present day Uttar Pradesh, the northern Uttar Pradesh. There is a place, there is a small city. Now it's a small village. During that time, it was a very big city. During Buddha's time, it was a very big city, Shravasti. Very, one of the most populous cities during the time of Buddha. So there Buddha stayed for some 25 years in a monastery called Jetavana Anathapindika monastery. So there some 5 lay people, they approached Buddha to learn Buddha's teachings, to listen to Dhamma, Buddha's teachings. They requested Buddha to teach the Dhamma, the righteousness. What is righteousness? How to live a righteous life. That is what is Dhamma. So that they can derive true happiness, true health, true peace of mind. So they requested Buddha. Buddha, when he started giving the Dhamma, of course they don't differentiate. All the 5 of them, they were having different mentalities, different mental predispositions, whether they are very intelligent, whether they are ignorant, whether they are from this community, that community. So Buddha's never differentiate. And Buddha, although he knew that they are having different mental capabilities, but still he started giving Dhamma. But when he was giving Dhamma, so that all the 5 of them, they are having different intellectual abilities, different mentalities, different mindsets. One of them, he was like say, he fell asleep while listening to Dhamma. He was completely dull and he fell asleep. And the other one was like say, he was drawing lines with his fingers on the ground. He was simply scribbling or simply drawing some lines on the ground where they were sitting. He was simply scratching, drawing some lines on the ground. And the other person, other disciple, other person, he was like say, he was trying to shake a tree which was next to him. Buddha used to give Dhamma sitting under a tree. And they were also sitting next to the tree, and one was trying to shake the tree. That you can observe in even today also. Different people, they do different things when listening to Dhamma. Now sitting here, some of you are doing so many other things also. So in that way, there also, when these 5 people, they were listening to Dhamma. One was like say, one fell asleep, and the other one was, he was scratching the ground. He was drawing some lines and scratching the ground. And the third one was shaking the tree. He was just trying to shake the tree which was next to them. And the fourth one, he was looking up at the sky. He was looking up at the sky and he was in his own world and he was simply gauging the stars or gauging the sky. And only the fifth one was very attentive in listening to Buddha's teachings. So this Buddha's disciple who was fanning Buddha, he observed this. His name is Venerable Ananda. So he observed this and and he requested, Venerable Sir, while you are expounding the Dhamma, and this is such a pure great teachings they are, like they are the big drops of rain falling from the sky, so powerful, so cooling, these teachings, this will completely calm down the mind. It will give tremendous solace to the people who listen to this. It will develop a lot of wisdom, lot of freedom, lot of solace. But these 5 people, they were behaving differently. Only one among them, he was eager, he was so interested in listening to Dhamma. But the remaining 4, they were doing, they were in their own life, in their own world. They were doing their some habitual things, or they were doing some unnecessary, some nonsense they were doing. Why this? In that way, this Venerable Ananda, he asked Buddha, what is the reason for their different behavior? So then Buddha says, so this is because of their old habits. And old habits, they can't come out because of their defilements. And the defilements again are the biggest enemies which will come in the way. They are the obstacles to listen to Dhamma also. Their habituations are because of defilements, and once you are habituated to those defilements and the actions based on those defilements, mental defilements, you can't give it up so easily. Even in this such an ambience, in the presence of Buddha, in the presence of Supreme Buddha, they could not give up their habituations and the defilements which made them to have these habituations. So in that way, Buddha told them that it is because of their habituations they are behaving like this. What were their habituations? What were their old habits? In their past existence, the first one who was sleeping, he was a snake. Just like the snakes, they coil their bodies and they sleep. And in the same way, because of that defilements, like that dullness, that sleepiness, he coiled and he slept and he fell asleep. And the second one who was scratching the earth, he was an earthworm. He was an earthworm in his previous life. What the earthworms do? They burrow. They simply make. They keep on scratching and they burrow the soil, earth. The same way, this fellow, because of that old habituation, old habit, he was scratching the earth. And the third one, he was a monkey in his previous life. And monkeys, he used to shake the trees and the branches. Now the same thing he is doing. That tendency is still there. The previous life's tendency of shaking the tree, that is still there with this person. That's why he was shaking the tree. Instead of listening to Dhamma, he was shaking the tree. And the fourth one, he was an astronomer in his previous life. He was so much fascinated by the stars and the sky, and he had that old habit of watching the sky with his delusion. Such worldly knowledge or worldly curiosity is again ignorance, is delusion. That is coming in the way of listening to Dhamma, such a superior Dhamma, superior truth, superior wisdom. He is not in a position to listen because his deluded mind, which is looking for happiness, which is looking for truth, in gazing the sky, that is coming in the way. And the fourth one and the fifth one, the last one, he is a very learned astrologer. That astrologer, he was a very wise guy. He was seeking for the truth. And in his previous life, though he was an astrologer, but he was a good seeker for wisdom, true freedom, true health, true happiness. Because of that inquisitiveness for the truth, inquisitiveness for the true happiness, inquisitiveness for the true wisdom. Now the same inquisitiveness for the truth, for the true happiness, that has made him, that old habit of seeking truth, that has made him to listen to the Dhamma so attentively. That is the main reason for the behavior of these different people. So in that way Buddha explained. And then he also explained all these different behaviors, different old habits, they are because of the mental defilements like the lust, the hatred, the delusion, the greed. These things only are responsible for them to get stuck into these old habits. And if you don't fix them through these meritorious actions, through this, of course, meditation, rightful meditations, understanding rightful meditations, developing Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, all these things, they are part of Panya only actually. So in that way, if you don't develop Saddha, Virya and Panya, the faith, the effort, putting forth effort in performing the meritorious actions, and also in meditation, and developing Panya by listening to these teachings correctly, understanding the teachings correctly, discussing the teachings correctly, and through meditation also experiencing the teachings correctly. If you don't put forth these efforts based on the right faith, based on right wisdom, then your defilements can't be fixed, authoritatively fixed. So many people, they give so many techniques in the name of religion, in the name of science. So many people, they give so many techniques, but when you are fixing one defilement, other defilement will sprout. So authoritatively, what I mean by authoritatively fixing the defilements, understanding the cause of all these defilements. So without having the right faith, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration and right wisdom of knowing all these defilements and correctly fixing them by catching hold of all these defilements with the wisdom, with the effort, with the faith, and not trying to destroy them correctly. Then if you try to fix one, the other may start sprouting, start growing. That risk is there. But in this path of these meritorious actions that you are practicing in these Sunday programs, and every day you are practicing meditation, then authoritative, this right view meditation. Again, there are so many kinds of meditations where you thought of fixing one defilement, but the other defilement will be growing. You thought of fixing two defilements, maybe many other defilements may be growing unknowingly. That is wrong view meditations. That is wrong view meritorious actions also. The right view meritorious actions, the right view meditations will help you to understand the defilements correctly, and it will help you to fix the defilements, all of them, authoritatively. So that's what is actually the Dhamma. That's what is actually the Buddha's teaching. The core, we have to understand our own defilements that are coming in the way of our learning, of our wisdom, of our mind culture, mind cultivation. So by developing this Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, along with faith and effort, in this very authoritative right view approach, whether it is right view meritorious actions or right view meditations, we can fix them and we can derive the true joy here and now and hereafter also. That wisdom you should know, you should develop. So that's what is the essence of this small Dhamma given by Buddha. This lust or this hatred or this delusion, it will burn us each and every moment. The fire of this universe, sometimes it will completely destroy the universe, but once in a while, very rarely, after one kalpa, after one eon. But this fire of lust, fire of craving, fire of delusion, fire of hatred, it will burn each and every moment. It will destroy our mind, it will destroy our peace. So we have to destroy these defilements with wisdom, with faith, with concentration, with mindfulness, with effort. And all these things we can develop the ability by performing these meritorious actions. This will give actually the initial impetus, initial trigger, these meritorious actions. Then you can continuously, skillfully, you can practice the meditations also regularly. With commitment you can practice. And by practicing these meritorious actions and this meditation parallelly, you can fix these defilements very authoritatively and you keep on developing the true happiness here and now and also hereafter. So that is the summary of this today's Dhamma talk. Okay, So because of that reason only, now we have this 6 months meditation training, with of course with some tips, with some teachings, with some motivation, with some right inspiration about the techniques, again rightly covering these techniques, again uh, filling the gaps in your understanding, and consistency in the practice, authoritative consistency, keeping these things in the mind. So this 6 months program is there. Don't miss this opportunity, because once you practice 6 months authoritatively with the guidance, with the support of the master and the group, and at least one session in a day, definitely I assure you, your mind will establish in the Dhamma, in understanding, in wisdom also, in effort levels also, in faith also. And of course, because of these three things, you will definitely establish in the mindfulness, the right mindfulness. Being in the present moment, here and now, bringing the mind very confidently, very authoritatively to the present moment, and again very authoritatively penetrating into the present moment. That is what is concentration. Sati and Samadhi, both you can establish. Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. You can thoroughly establish if you practice these 6 months with all these proper ambience, proper supporting factors. Then destroying these defilements very authoritatively with complete grip is possible. So this right mindfulness and right concentration, if you develop, so even Nibbana is in this very present moment only, which you achieve through this right mindfulness and right concentration. The jhanas and the insight knowledges, everything they open up, and it will take you to Nibbana when you learn this art of penetrating into the present moment through right mindfulness and right concentration. That's what you are going to learn in this 6 months training program also. So don't miss this opportunity if you are really serious. If you are like simply okay, chalega, with some half-heartedness, if you are into this, it's okay.